Hello, my dear friend. Today we discuss long case on bronchiectasis. So bronchiectasis, that's it. Complaint. Bronchiectasis কি নিয়ে আসে? bronchiectasis পেশেন্ট কিন্তু আসলে কফ নিয়ে আসে। কফ থাকে সাথে কপিয়াস স্পুটাম থাকে। আর এই ধরনের পেশেন্ট কী করে বারবার কিন্তু আসলে আপনার এই রেসপিরেটরি ট্র্যাক্ট ইনফেকশনে ভুগবে। এই জন্য কিন্তু তাদের একটা হিস্ট্রি থাকে যে রিপিটেড চেস্ট ইনফেকশন, এই গট দ্য হিস্ট্রি অফ রিপিটেড চেস্ট ইনফেকশন। অ্যান্ড when there is erosion of the bronchial wall occur due to infection or due to recurrent infection, or then there is a hemoptysis occur in case of bronchiectasis. So this patient can give up a history of hemoptysis, and it is a chronic process, and patient cannot eat well, and there is a repeated infection, so there is a history of weight loss can be present. And you can also find the another cause of bronchitis, such as there can be due to repeated childhood infections such as measles, and some genetic diseases such as cystic fibrosis, immotile cell syndrome, agammaglobulinemia, on there can be cystic fibrosis. So this is the genetic disease. This is not common in our country, but in our country it is common in case of childhood measles, childhood whooping cough, or the past history of tuberculosis, or any bronchial carcinoma such as which cause the obstruction of the bronchus, and then they cause the bronchiectasis. This is the common cause in our country. So you can must first make the sick complaint of the bronchiectasis, such as the copious sputum, and hemoptysis for last 3 months, and the patient also gives history of weight loss for the same duration. So according to Mr. Ahmad, who is a non-diabetic, admitted into the BSU from Satpur with the complaint of this, and about the patient statement, he was reasonably well about 1 year back. Then he gives a history of a cup with a copious sputum production, and his sputum color is sometimes whitish, and occasionally become mucoid occasionally, and sometimes gives a history of mucoid sputum, and sometimes it is mixed with blood, and which is more marked at the morning time after waking from the sleep. And this is sputum is purulent or yellowish and foul staining, and leave after taking antibiotic. And occasional, this is the occasional history. So usually the patient gives history of cough with profuse expectoration of sputum, which is whitish in color, and it is more marked at morning after waking from sleep. And occasionally he also gives history of sputum with purulent or yellowish and foul staining, and relief after taking antibiotics. So when the infection occur, then they give history of purulent sputum, and when infection does not occur, then gives history of mucoid sputum. And the purulent sputum is the most common thing. So by combine of these things, you can give the history such as he can give history of a cup, which is usually productive cup, and occasionally this productive cup contain purulent or yellowish sputum with foul spinning, and it is more marked at the morning after waking from the sleep. So the patient also notice some small amount of blood is in sputum occasionally, and it is mixed with this sputum. And patient also gives history of weight loss, which is about 5 kg, which was unintentional, and without any evidence, without any without any history of hot intolerance, or any history of polydysplasia, and he also gives the history of weakness and fatigue also. And but there is no history of or you can give the history of if the patient, if he give the history of contact with a sputum positive TB patient. So you can tell him about the, and that he does not give any history of fever, or give the or night sweat, and there is no history of chest pain, breathlessness, or swelling of the ankle, and his bile and blood habit is normal. And then the past history, so he gives the history of childhood measles or whooping cough infection, or a history of past history of tuberculosis 2 years back, in which he was cured by taking a category 1 treatment for 6 months. If the patient give the history of such things, and there is no history of foreign body infection, or there is no history of whooping cough present, or there is no history of cystic fibrosis or any other chronic disease, you can utter the name if they present any of these things. And he has 2 sons, one daughter, none of his family members suffering of this kind, on another history. He is a smoker, and his history about 10 pack per year, and he took occasional antibiotics such as amoxicillin or levofloxacillin for his infection, and also the antibiotic, and also the multivitamin tablet. You can utter the name of those dogs. And he's a he lives in Semibaka house, links arsenic with distributed water. He's oil even as it says oil even east, and there is BCC mark is present, and he has no dog allergy or any, no recent traveling to any endemic area. So you can also history include in your history that there is no history of leg edema, because bronchiectasis can cause amyloidosis and cause the nephrotic syndrome. If you get got, you can also tell these things in your general examination. And on general examination, patient is in looking and slightly emaciated or slightly cachectic, and there is a generalized clubbing involving both the toes and fingers, and also but there is no pain into the long end of long bones, or pain into the ends of the long bones. So patient is in looking, individual is choice, nutritional status is average, body build is normal, and the patient is oil cooperative. There is no anemia, no jaundice, no synapses. There is a clubbing, generalized clubbing involving the hands, both hands and feet, and there is no demonopathy. It is important in this case, and there is no edema, no dehydration, no pigmentation, no cholinergia, and pulse is about 72 beats per minute. BP is about 110 by 70 millimeter mercury. Temperature is normal, and respiratory rate is about 22 beats per minute, which is irregular, and GBP is not raised. And on a systemic examination, assessment is resulted restricted. If this is present or not, it is normal. Trachea is central, is between left industrial stress line syndrome of the midline, which is not normal in character. Vocal preference is increase if it is increase or not, and the chest pain is normal, percussion not is normal. And there is on auscultation, there is a coarse cavitation found on the base of the lungs, which is altered with after coughing. And vocal resonance is normal. The bed sound is also normal or vesicular with pulling expression if it is present. So this is the case. How can you summarize the case of bronchiectasis? And you can ask the question: how is it differential diagnosis? Can be due to lung. It can be due to DVLD. And why not DVLD? You can tell that DVLD is unaltered after coughing, and the bronchiectasis is altered, and there is fine cavitation in case of DVLD, which is coarse in case of bronchiectasis, and pulmonary TB can be the cause, but there is no contact with tubercular patient and no long-term history, and so this is the negative point of pulmonary tuberculosis, and there is no other complication of tuberculosis such as pleural effusion, fibrosis is found in this case, and so this is not why the tuberculosis. So what is bronchiectasis? Bronchiectasis is usually the dilatation of bronchi. So IPF, in IPF there is cyanosis. Cyanosis may be present in case of IPF, which is not present in this case. And also the characteristics of cavitation. So what are the investigation of bronchiectasis? You can do the investigation to find out the cause, to see the changes of bronchiectasis, and to see the lung damage. So you can do the chest X-ray. In this case, there is a ring. Bronchiectasis in findings on chest diseases can be cylindrical, pisiform, or linear, such as linear reticular shadow. It can be due to present with the thumb-like shadow, thumb-line shadow. Also, the thick bronchi sometimes can be found on X-ray, and it is more found in case of CT scan, ESR CT scan mainly. So you can do the CBC with ESR to see the neutrophilic leukocytosis experience, to see the Cartagena syndrome. Sometimes Cartagena syndrome can be associated with bronchiectasis, and lung function test. You can do the lung function test to see the restrictive lung defect. And sputum got gamma-stain, also sensitivity, AB-stain malignant cell. Sometimes bronchiectasis look at the site of obstruction. And you can do the Asperger specification test to see the ABP present or not. And serum immunoglobulin is also to see the hypogammaglobulinemia. You can do the sweat test for cystic fibrosis, and mucociliary clearance. You can for that you can do the saccharin test. And in proteinuria, if amyloidosis is suspected, and ultrasonography whole abdomen if there is situs inversus present or not. So this is the crazy investigation. Those causes is not common in our country, such as ABPA, hypogammaglobulinemia, cystic fibrosis, ciliary dysfunction, and situs inversus. This is not so much common in our country. This is the most common in Western country. So if the patient is bronchiectasis develops nephrotic syndrome, it can be due to amyloidosis. in case of long standing cases. So CT scan has the sensitivity high sensitivity is 6 to 8%, and high resolution HRCT has the sensitivity about 90%. So what is the difference between a standard and HRCT? It is the slice size thickness is 1 to 2 millimeter in case of HRCT. So what is bronchiectasis and what are the causes of it? Bronchiectasis is the abnormal permanent dilatation of one or more bronchi, destruction of the bronchial wall, proximal to the terminal bronchiole. So this is the proximal level of terminal bronchiole is usually involved. So there is so many causes, congenital causes such as cystic fibrosis, cardiac pulmonary dysphagia, hypoglycemia, young syndrome, and in this young syndrome, young মানুষের আপনার কি হচ্ছে অ্যাজোস্পার্মিয়া হচ্ছে, then the chronic sinus infection and also the bronchiectasis. And acute cause, it can be due to measles, whooping cough, TB, foreign body, and sometimes bronchial carcinoma, pulmonary TB, recurrent aspiration, or suppurative pneumonia, and allergic bronchopulmonary aspergillosis can also cause the bronchiectasis. So bronchitis can be fusiform, cylindrical, secular. Most common site is the lip lobe and lingual also. Presentation of bronchitis, I already told about that. What is the typical sign of bronchitis? Clubbing is usually the generalized clubbing, and the cavitation. So what is the cause of why hemoptysis? Is due bronchial wall hypertrophy, and so mucosa become friable and slap out, and capillary open and bleeding occur. So the main common cause of hemoptysis is the bronchial wall hypertrophy. So what is the diabronchiectasis? The diabronchiectasis is associated with the intermittent episode of hemoptysis, but it is massive, even life-threatening as bleeding is bronchial vessel is systemic pressure. So common in patient with granulomatous infections such as TB, and it involves the upper lobe. So dibronchiectasis means there is a usually profuse sputum production or the mucopurulent sputum production, so why it is called dry bronchiectasis. So what is characteristic of sputum in bronchiectasis? So and it is kept in a bottle. There is a 3-layer. The upper layer is fluid, middle layer is liquid, and the lower layer is the sediment. And in the sediment you can found the epithelial cell and the bacteria. So what are the other causes of basal cavitation? It can be unilateral, can be bilateral. Unilateral cause is usually the infection such as lung abscess, bronchiectasis, localized fibrosis, or resolution interstitial pneumonia. And on bilateral, then it can be due to pulmonary edema due to heart failure or IPF or bilateral bronchiectasis. And bilateral cavitation with clubbing causes the bilateral bronchiectasis and also the IPF. So what abnormality may be associated with bronchiectasis? You can find Carter syndrome. In that case, you can do cytase inverters such as dextrocardia, photosynthesis, or agenesis, and also the Young syndrome. And what are the complications of bronchiectasis? Bronchiectasis can be completed by secondary infection. It can cause lung abscess, pleural effusion, impairment in pneumothorax, can cause pulmonary hypertension, core pulmonary, and the respiratory failure can also occur, and amyloidosis, and abscess can be metastasis to other side, such as brain, and aspergilloma can also be seen. So how are the treatment of bronchiectasis? We give the supportive treatment, physiotherapy, and also the under the treatment of the underlying infections, and you can do the surgery at the last part. So postural tennis is the mainstay of treatment. You can give the postural tennis, and you can learn the patient about the how to do the exercise. And that's just physiotherapy also can give you can give the antibiotic, you can do the surgery, you can give the bronchodilator drugs if there is a history of breathlessness. Inhaled steroid can reduce the risk of progression, also help in the ABPM. So steroid has the role to decrease the rate of progression of bronchiectasis, so you can give it, but steroid also increase the chance of recurrent infection. So caution can also be taken to use the steroid. In bilateral extensive bronchiectasis, lung transplantation can be done, which is usually a dream in our country. So indication of surgery, in surgery you can do the surgery such as single lobar surgery or segmental surgery and severe recurrent hemoptysis. So it is the indication of surgery. So usually you can do the surgery in a single lobe or segment, or if there is a severe recurrent hemoptysis, we can also do the surgery. So this is the bronchiectasis. You should not forget about the cause of bronchiectasis. What is the cause? It can be infection such as TB. It can be due to foreign body. It can be due to bronchial carcinoma. It can be due to aspiration. It can be due to ABPA. This is the common cause, and the genetic cause is not so much common. So thank you, my dear friend, for your fashion hearing. Thank you all.